We're back playing Peepo Island. Please tell me it saved my progress. Let's go! Saved. Okay, I know you're like, oh, I saw you do this part. No, I'm here to tell you we did not do this part. Because we haven't gotten to the checkpoint yet. But we got very close. Can I also tell you, I think that the game has reset my shadow settings, which is going to make it run like pure ass. So I'm going to put my shadow quality back on low, apply it, and then go back. What is Peepo Island? I'm just going to level with you. You're probably going to figure it out pretty quick. You're on like an island, and there's like these peepos that try to like knock you off. It's basically like Alt F4 with some peepos, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to be so weird about it. Yeah, like if Alt F4 was Coca-Cola Classic, this is Lobe Cola. I mean, it still hits the spot in a pinch. Plus, the Coca-Cola Classic cans were always like $1 each in the vending machine, and Lobe Cola, you'd go to the vending machine and they'd be like, it's 15 cents. In the mid-90s. So it's not like, would you rather have Lobe Cola or Coke? It's, would you rather have 1 can of Coke or 6 cans of Lobe Cola? Then you drink that 3rd can of Lobe Cola, and you're like, I should have just gone with the 1 can of Coke. Ever tell you this story about how on like one of the last days of my first year in undergrad, the commissary was selling a product called Coca-Cola Black, which was a little experiment the Coca-Cola Corporation did in North America. I know that Coke and coffee is still around like in Australia or whatever. Coca-Cola Black was Coca-Cola with a little coffee flavoring. It was so unpopular, at least locally, that when it came time for the school year to end, the commissary was selling it in a deal I've never seen before. Buy 1, get 11 free. You could get a 12-pack of Coca-Cola Black for the price of a single bottle. You know I went in. And honestly, by the end of that 12-pack, I was like, this is not that bad. It's kind of refreshing. I mean, if you offer me like buy 1 get 11 free, I'm taking that on any product that's essentially edible. Yahoo? That's a dad deal for sure. Okay, hold on. I'm cracked. Now remember this next part, you got to go a little faster. I need that Peepo to get off the rock. Thank you, thank you. Ever tried G Fuel? I had a sample cup of G Fuel at a convention once. I mean, I might be costing myself potential sponsorships in the future. We've actually had like sponsorship offers from like gamer fuel companies, not just G Fuel, but there's a lot of other ones. I don't necessarily feel uncomfortable drinking it myself, but I feel uncomfortable promoting it to my audience just because I feel like some of the claims about like enhanced intellectual performance are quite spurious and based on pseudoscience at best. Like I don't think it makes any sense to suggest that they offer performance enhancing capabilities. It's just sugar and like some vitamins and some flavoring, which is fine. But again, I don't feel comfortable being like, oh, I don't feel like that game went well. Let me have some G Fuel real quick. NL after the sponsorship. Guys, exclamation point. Gamer juice in the chat. Hold on. Okay. This is as far as I've ever made it. He choked it. Okay. Close though. Very close. It's a hard move because you got to do a quick 180. You might have more Fall Guys wins if you drank some G Fuel. Dude, forget that. All I need is a Smurf account. You know, I should just download that shit on the Switch. I bet I'd get like 2 good games on the Switch, and then the ELO... Oh, that's not even the jump. What am I thinking? Then it would adjust, and I would have to then download it for the PS5, and so on and so forth. Switch version is terrible. Honestly, all the better. By the way, how did Nintendo do their Pokemon thing today and not talk about Pokemon Sleep? This shit was announced May 2019. It's been 3 years and 3 months. And like, not to be dismissive, it's an app. Like, it's not even a game, right? It's a damn app. It must be dead. There's no way that that project is still under development. What a throw. Ooh, I'm not sure about the physics on that one. They must be working on ranked right now. My sleep is not that fantastic right now, but it's very... Ooh! It's very consistent. Where would that put me? Maybe gold? Maybe low golds? That was not even close. That's not how physics works. What is Pokemon Sleep? Well, here's the thing. Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows what Pokemon Sleep is because they announced it, and then they were like, it's going to be out at the end of this year, and it turns out that was a damn lie. I hate how this guy runs. Me, when the GameStop clerk says there's only one more copy of Ring Fit Trainer available. +2? Alright, I'll take it. Help. They still have 2 more quarters? Nah, man, that's the thing, is that they said it would be out by the end of the year 2018. Or maybe 2019. They got like negative 16 quarters. Which, coincidentally, 2 quarters was probably the damn budget. $250,000. Sorry, it's just not... Still not a whole lot of money to develop like an actual game, I guess, but... So you're right, it's still pretty cheap in the whole scheme of things. He's unhittable. He can't be killed. Two quarters is like 4 lobe colas. Dude, it's crazy. I know that this has been talked about before. It's crazy that a can of Arizona iced tea is still the same price it was like 14 years ago. I don't drink it because, like, have you ever looked at the ingredients? It's just water, sugar, like an old tea bag from the garbage can. But like, it's $1.29 here now. Really? Even in Canada, I think they're still like, they're $1.29, $1.29 Canadian. Is $3 now? Better example of cost not changing is Costco hot dogs. Yeah, but Costco's got other things that can like pad the margins a little bit. Like Arizona iced tea, that's all they got, man. All they got is the blue can. Almost made it. 67 cents at the Idaho Winco. What's the economic term when something is so cheap that it scares you? Like you would rather pay more money for something just because it seems like they shouldn't be able to sell it for that price? Fishy? Okay, but there's like a fake scientific term for it that I can't remember. It's like spurious goods or something like that. Like it. Let's assume you're in the United States of America. Let's peg everything to American dollars, just like the world does. How cheap would a lunch have to be at a sit-down restaurant for you to be like, I'm gonna go someplace else? I definitely think if I sat down at a restaurant and my meal was gonna be like $3.75, I would be like, that's not right. I can't even get the ingredients for that at the grocery store. Like, if it's not fast food under $5, I agree. IKEA, well, okay, IKEA, you know, Costco, I think it's a different story. Because you're paying, you know, $150 for like a chest of drawers made out of reconstituted sawdust. Like, I expect my lingonberry jam plus meatballs to be like, you know, a little bit subsidized, but... Let me out, please. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Okay. Honestly, I'm being outplayed right now. I'm being outplayed. They just keep coming. There we go. I got severe food poisoning from the IKEA meatballs. I hate to revert to my old self. Lord help me, but I'm about to go back to my old me. I don't believe that it's from the meatballs. I would want to see proof. Having gone through food poisoning myself, I'm not saying you didn't have food poisoning. I'm just saying, unless there was a verifiable outbreak, I'm not going to put that on IKEA. If there was like a news story that was like 6 people got salmonella after dining at the IKEA food court, then I would be like, okay, that gave you food poisoning. But if it was just you that you know of, I would be like, I don't know. I don't think you can say that. Even as someone who's gone through it myself. IKEA shill? You guys, I don't know. Maybe I'm a super hater. I'm not saying the bigger a corporation is, the better it is. But I am saying I trust IKEA more than the average food item that you probably ate. I know it sounds crazy to say that you trust a furniture store to make food safely, but I feel like they got more to lose if they do it badly. Anytime IKEA does anything bad, it's an international news story. I think they're more likely to have rigid standards. I did, by the way. See, people ask, did you report your case to the news? I actually got a call from, I don't know, a food detective. I don't know what word to use to describe them. One of these days we're going to make that. And he asked me a series of unanswerable questions that were essentially like, okay, did you eat vegetables in the 2 weeks in advance of you coming down with symptoms of food poisoning? I was like, yes. And then he was like, what vegetables did you eat? And I'm like, fucking, come on, man. I don't know, some lettuce, some spinach. And then he's like, where'd you buy the lettuce? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm guessing it was from this grocery store. Like, I was not giving him good answers. Please. It's just like the question, and that's not his fault, but the questions were like unanswerable. But I imagine it was just me, because I never got a call back that was like, oh, we found out it was tied to that pork that you told us you bought from the grocery store. Then he said, also, yeah, you can pretty much get food poisoning from anything. And I said, well, I didn't say, but I thought in my head, like, it seems like we're wasting our time with this phone call then, but I get you got to do it. In case, you know, Swiss Chalet had an outbreak or something like that. I mean, it's hard to trace. I can understand that. Can't they, when they sequence the bacteria though, couldn't they be like, oh, this bacteria has like, it has chicken DNA in it? Like if the bacteria was in a chicken, doesn't it take on part of the chicken's DNA? Doesn't it have a little chicken DNA in it? That's been incepted into the bacteria? Surely there would be like traces of chicken. That's way too much. That's way too much again. They're just like a little, they're like, oh, this, you know, codon exclusively shows up in poultry from this one farm in Abbotsford. That's like, it, I mean, they're really good at their jobs. You guys are calling me a hater. It's the opposite. I think they're so good at their jobs. That shit seems like self-evident to me. This bacteria has a little garam masala on it. Is it possible that you consumed some Rogan Josh in the past 3 weeks? Oh my god. I gotta go. I should talk to like a food medium. I should get Long Island Medium to figure out what gave me food poisoning. I'm picking up images of chronic diarrhea. Has anyone here suffered chronic diarrhea recently? Oh my god. That's me. The bacteria are trying to talk to you. They're trying to send a message from the great beyond. The message is, we came from pork. We came from the ground pork. I knew it. I knew it. But it's nice to hear it. But I knew it. It's nice to know for sure, though. It's nice to get verifiable, objective proof, though. We came from the chicken sashimi? Not possible. I don't believe you, Long Island Medium. I've been eating it for years. I will say, though, like, it's changed my lifestyle. Like, I will no longer do... I still eat chicken sashimi, but now I get a medium rare. Rare was... I realize now, I'm not a young man anymore. Rare was just not the right order for me anymore. It's a small price to pay to learn something. Now I get it, so it's largely pink throughout, but with a cold red center. And I think that is... That's I know a lot of people, they think that the rarer it is, like the more masculine you are. I just gotta recognize I'm not at that point in my life anymore. He's done it. Okay. It's a good bit. Thank you. Thank you. Please. Please. It's an awful bit. I want to throw up. You should grow up. I'm dead. It's not going 200. I think it's probably going 200. Have you ever gotten your testosterone levels tested? No, I don't participate in bodybuilding competitions or listen to self-help podcasts. I'm just a guy. I can tell you, I don't think I have low testosterone. I experience road rage like every time I drive. Help. Hey, get out of the car. No, the road rage video is not me. It's just a guy who apparently looks identical to me if your eyes don't work. Hold on. But I had some road rage yesterday. But all of my road rage is passive aggressive. Like, I don't actually confront people. I just yell at them inside of my car. And, like, give them the middle finger sometimes. Let me tell you, okay? So I was at a four-way stop. It's very busy. It's rush hour. I'm at a four-way stop. There's cyclists. There's pedestrians. It's full. I'm the fourth person to come to the four-way stop. The first person to go is on my right. They're turning left, which means they're going to cross in front of me. So they have to go before me. They don't get to go for a while. because they have like pedestrians are crossing, you know, it makes sense. So some other cars jump the queue. Completely understandable. You don't have to wait. That if you're not familiar with the four-way stop, you go in the order that you arrived at the four-way stop. However, if the person who would go next can't go because their way is blocked, if your way is not blocked and you were the first person to arrive at the stop that their way is not blocked, you can skip the queue. So anyway, a couple people skip the queue. Then some bozos show up at the four-way stop, and they don't know who got there first. All they know is, I got here now, and I want to go. So the car that had the right-of-way finally went, I'm next, okay? I'm turning left. I go to enter the intersection and turn left. Lady on my left going straight in a BMW SUV starts pulling out in the intersection. I said, you know what? Fucking kill me. I pulled out to indicate I am not stopping. And then I made my left turn in front of her car because that's how traffic works. And the whole time I was making the left turn, which it looks like I'm turning to the right because I guess my camera's mirrored. But the whole time I was making the left turn, I was going, oh, so how many times do you want me? How many cars am I supposed to wait for to get to the intersection when it's my turn? With my window completely closed, so she couldn't hear me. But I could see her on the steering wheel, and she looked rattled. And I was like, mission accomplished. It's not because I wanted to make someone feel bad. It's because you got to learn how the damn rules of the road work so everybody can get where they need to go safely and as efficiently as possible. Was the baby in the car? No, she was in the car on the way home, where usually I say something like, yeah, that's no problem. Just run the red driving as slow as fucking possible so that I can't actually make my left turn that I've been waiting for a minute and a half. Yeah, no problem. Just incredibly slowly run the red light. Shit drives me crazy, man. Which is why I made that tweet that said, I'm not stopping at stop signs anymore. I'm just treating them as a green light. I don't know. Would love your thoughts on this. I approve. It was a very chibcore tweet. I'm not flaming. I'm just saying. Come on, man. This Peepo's gotta go. I can't let this Peepo live. There we go. Are you hoping for lip readers? No, I don't care if, like, the driver hears what I'm saying. I just want them to know that they fucked up. She doesn't need to, because what I'm saying was, like, essentially incomprehensible. Like, as I was saying it, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. How many times do you want me to wait for people when it's my turn? Like, it's just, what she's imagining in her head was, like, 10 times worse than what I was actually saying. All right. Who do you think you are? I am. Exactly. What if they pull out a gun? Well, then I would drive away as fast as possible, for sure. She was probably exhausted. Okay, sorry. I forgot. The people that you're cutting off in traffic aren't tired. Everybody that you're cutting off in traffic is well rested. Only the person doing bad things is allowed to have something going on in their life. It's like the Fall Guys thing. Anybody you beat is a child. Anybody you lose to is also a child. Look at this. That's perfect. I will say, and the other thing is, I actually, like, I'm not a perfect driver. I cut somebody off in traffic this weekend. I think it was on Sunday. I cut someone off. I'll tell you how it happened. I looked in the mirror to see if it was open for me to change lanes. It was. I signaled, I shoulder checked. There was nobody there. I moved into the next lane. Somebody behind me, like 2 cars behind me, was mad that the car in between us was going slowly and didn't do the necessary precautions. Just went, and then tried to pass by both of us. So it was the rare, like, everybody sucks here cutoff, right? Like, that's one of the worst things in driving is when you want to change lanes, but people behind you are like, I want to change lanes first. So you got to sit there and be like, okay, has everybody behind me changed lanes? Now I can finally go. But anyway, after I realized that I cut the guy off, he gave me a little honk, which I felt like I deserved. And then I waved like this, which is the universal sign for my bad. And then, like, 10 seconds later, I went like this again, just to make sure they saw it. People make mistakes when they drive. As long as you acknowledge that you messed up, I don't think anyone's gonna keep honking at you unless they, like, are estranged from their children. It's also the universal sign for mocking the person who honked. No, I'm not gonna do it in the camera, but that's the jerk-off motion. Okay, here we go. You gotta go. Peepo, you gotta go. That was close. Please. Way! He is pogging! It's not going 200. It's not going 200. I mean, when someone makes a mistake in traffic, and then I'm, like, mad at them, and then they do this, I'm like, okay, don't worry. Everybody makes mistakes. What do you expect? Our brains are made out of meat. Of course we're going to make mistakes. If they don't acknowledge me while I'm raging at them from inside of my car, I get a little bit more upset because I'm like, man, that's a person who probably does that mistake, like, every damn day. They don't even acknowledge that they're doing anything wrong. Hold on, slash moment. Nope, not yet. Maybe next time. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, this is too easy after what we've been through. I don't know where I was going on that one. Rip Bozo. Clip me. I know, I stand by what I said. That first part there was too easy. Once you get to the triplicate boulders, that's where things become a little touchy. I'm not sure how to feel about that one. Where are we going here? I honestly don't know. I think we got to do a little intel. Because we probably don't go into the lava pit. I'm just going to run straight across, man. There's a trampoline! Okay, now I see. Oop. You gotta get to the boat? Am I being trolled right now? I'm still mad that, like... Can somebody... Oh, hold on. We got a macros... better Twitch TV emote suggestion. Tisk. It's a finger wag. You know what? I would add that. That's added. Should be available in 10 minutes or less. That reminds me of the day we bought old Faithful, the Ford Focus, where I must remind you that Ford management knew about the faulty transmission issues for 3 years, but kept selling the car. And then also, whenever customers complained about the transmission issues, the standard operating procedure for Ford was have them come in, take a half day off work every time, tell them, hey, we looked at your car and nothing's wrong, or alternatively, fucking flash the firmware or something and be like, yeah, we fixed it, even though they knew that the shit was faulty on like a manufacturing level. Then later, they got into a class action lawsuit. And admittedly, if you took your car to the Ford dealership like 7 times, Ford had to buy you a new car. But most reasonable people were like, they took it in 2 times and then said, these people and this company are fucking useless, and they didn't waste their time anymore and just dealt with it. But anyway, or continue to deal with it. But either way, the day we bought Old Faithful, we were driving in downtown Vancouver. Kate tried to change lanes. A bald man in a BMW convertible sped up so that she couldn't change lanes. With God as my witness, he looked over to us and then did this. It's the only time I've ever seen that level of assholery in traffic. Like, just overt dickhead move. And honestly, like, it wasn't even like a good BMW, not to be rude. But he was not driving, you know, like a vintage M3 or something like that. It was just like, it's just a car. Like, get over yourself. Like, if you cut me off in a Bugatti Veyron, I would be like, whoa, another Bugatti Veyron. You don't see too many of those. I would give him the Jeep Wave. I'd give him one of these. No, it was not Howie Mandel. He was bald, but in denial. He had the William H. Macy cut from the Elizabeth Holmes biography. Is that one of those situations where you wish the man physical harm? Not really. Because I mean, this is not meant to just be an own. But I feel like if you're at that point in your life, like, where you're doing that shit in traffic, like, your life is just fucked up. Like, you're just like a bad person. If you act like that towards strangers, I don't even want to know how you act like towards like the people in your life that you're more comfortable with. It's not, I don't have pity for them. I just want them to go away. They don't have to suffer any, you know, cosmic punishment or anything, but I like the people saying, just go left. Okay, here we go. Like this. Ooh, that was close. You can't blame him. He was probably listening to 3 Days Grace. He was probably listening to his favorite song, Sum 41 In Too Deep, live at SARS Stock. What's the song in the Shiny Ponyta video? It's not In Too Deep. I think it's Over My Head. Boing. But people? What's wrong with 3 Days Grace? Well, let me use their own words against them. I hate everything about them. Especially because they're from Peterborough, a town most famous for its OHL team and second most famous for being close to the annual Havelock Country Jamboree. Just give it a sec. 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 They're not in sync. They're back in sync. They're not in sync. They're in sync. I overshot one more time. Damn, he nailed Peterborough. I mean, like, we have a rivalry, right? Kingston stays winning. Like, I'd rather live in Peterborough than live in, like, Brockville. I mean, like, there's a reason we're not having, like, a Kingston versus Brockville rivalry. It's because when people from Brockville come to Kingston, they dress up because they think they're going to the big city. At least Peterborough's, like, they're in the conversation. Okay. Don't bring Brockville into this. I'm sorry, Brockville. I'm sure you've got many good things going for you there that I'm just ignorant to. I lived, bitch. And I didn't even get... I know less about Brockville than I do about Gananoque. At least Gananoque, I'm like, you got the Thousand Islands Ferry there. What do they have in Brockville? No disrespect. Belleville at least has the Quinty Mall, which had a cool mini golf course when I was growing up, and a big Toys R Us. Hello, people. I'm alive. Okay. Brockville's got a Petro-Canada and a car wash. Yo! Moving up in the world. Every town you mentioned is just a highway exit on the way from Toronto to Ottawa. Excuse me. Bands that are a little popular but not that popular sometimes play an ill-advised show in Kingston to break up their road trip, okay? On the way from Toronto to Ottawa or Montreal or vice versa. Like, Imagine Dragons is probably not going to stop and play at the damn K-Rock Center or whatever it's called now, the Invista Center. Although Elton John and Bob Dylan did play there. And I maintained that Bob Dylan's show at the K-Rock Center was one of the worst concerts I've ever been to in my entire life. I say that as a Bob Dylan fan. It was horrendous. But anyway, okay, hold on. Why? Because he's fucking 80 years old. Like, or he was at the time at least. What the hell? The Peepo spawner? Oh my god. Got hit on the damn top of the head. I mean, like, he is an 80-year-old man. The show, it just had no energy, and, like, Bob Dylan was, like, never really, like, it wasn't his Adele-like voice that draws you to him in the first place. But the same, I mean, I don't blame him, you know? He's in a town he probably doesn't really care about. And, like, he's just playing the hits for 72 minutes and then getting off the stage. Like, he's not getting out the paycheck. I understand. I've done Isaac episodes like that. I had to dodge. Thoughts on Dan's unhinged stream today? Mirror on Twitter linked me the reaction image of Dan giving a 45-degree angle middle finger to the camera. And I immediately saved it. I don't know what happened on Dan's stream. But for Dan to take a photo of him giving the finger is like as out of character, which means it must have been something pretty wild. Okay. It was Comcast. Well, fair, but also like, I don't know, Dan. You reap what you sow to some extent. Like, I would have a lot more sympathy if whenever we tried to, like, help you with tech support issues, you actually listened instead of saying something like, what do they call Comcast in Canada? Netballs. Fiber in his neighborhood costs 4 digits a month. Okay, well, that's madness. But you should be able to get reliable internet without having to get fiber. Now, I don't mean should, like, he just has to find it. I mean, like, you know, in a perfect world. It should be a human right. The issue lies with society. Yeah, and that's why, like, you can't fix it. It's unfixable. So Dick Hammer replied to my stop sign tweet and said, I've been liking this rebellious phase you're in lately. It's true. I don't know if it's because of the near-death experience or whatever, or maybe the colonoscopy, or maybe Ketchikan, Alaska rubbed off on me a little bit, but I do feel like I'm a little bit more rebellious now. I've always been like hey, I'm like following the rules sort of guy, but then now I'm kind of like previously if the rule was stupid, I would just follow it and then complain about it, like, you know, behind closed doors. Now, you know, if I have to do something that's dumb, did you see the needle get threaded there? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then I just don't do it. Because I'm like, you should know that your request was absurd in the first place. I don't say I'm not going to do that, because then they would like get mad. Instead, I just go, you know, I just do whatever I was going to do in the first place. And then if they notice that I didn't do things the way that they requested me, then I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Okay, I got it smashed. But I'm like, you know, I stand by this. My prime directive when I'm outside is just like to not needlessly inconvenience other people. I'm stunned by how many people just, when they're outside, are just like, I'm going to do whatever I want in the most convenient way possible for me. And if it gets in anybody's way, then that's their problem, because I'm so important and special. You know, I was in line at a bakery. This was on Sunday again, I think. All I was getting was a croissant and a loaf of bread. Spied 2 different lines, okay? One line, tourists. No problem. Not suggesting that there's anything wrong with that. Other line, 60-year-old woman with her credit card already in her hand. What line do you pick if you want to get out of the bakery as soon as possible? You go to the line with the woman who has her credit card in her hand. She's got it all figured out, right? That's where you're wrong. Gets handed the credit card machine, tries to tap. She's like, the tap's not working. They're like, oh yeah, you have a prompt first. The prompt is like, do you accept the cost of this like coffee that you got? She looks at it for like 30 seconds and then is like, yes. Then she taps her card. Her card doesn't work. She's like, oh, my card doesn't work. And they said, there's another prompt for tip. You can just push no on it. She looks at it for another 30 seconds. Hits a button. I don't know which one she hit. Taps her card. Finally, it works. And I'm like, dude, this is like, I've been waiting 2.5 minutes now to just pay like $6 for this breakfast. I'm really hungry. I can't eat it because I haven't paid for it yet. You should lose, like, you should lose outdoors privileges for 3 months. Just, I'm sorry. Maybe that's too much. Until you demonstrate the ability to handle the transaction, you have to go to a different line. So this is like how I thought when I was like 22. And then I spent like 8 years or 10 years, whatever, getting more empathetic. And now I'm regressing again because I have a lot less time than I did over the past few years. When I was 22, I was like, every time I go to the airport, I'm like, there should be one line that's like people who don't cause problems and one line for people that ask a lot of fucking questions. People were like, -2, horrible take. I said, you know what? Everybody's going through their own shit. It's time to become empathetic. Over the last few years, I realized it's gotten me nowhere. Selfish idiots simply use that as an excuse to take advantage of you. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Now there's 3 lines at the airport. One line just for me, one line for other people that don't cause problems, and one line for people that ask too many fucking questions. Obviously, I don't actually believe this. Well, I do, but I don't believe it's a better system. But it would be sick for me. Motherfucker. And I stand by the plastic straw take. It's bad for the environment, but what people never consider is maybe it's worth it. And people are like, that sociopath take. You make that decision every day. You drive your car to work. Oh, I can't walk. It's 5 miles. You could walk. You just decided that driving a car that produces like, you know, CO2 and emissions via internal combustion was worth it that day. Because I wanted to sleep for an extra 20 minutes because I'm tired, you know? We make that decision every day. Why can't we make that decision with our straws, man? I think we should bring back the plastic straws and just ban all cars. How about that? Would that be a fair trade? What percentage of society joins? Is this reasonable? No? Okay. Dude, we should ban paper straws. That's, yeah. Just invent teleportation. I would rather walk than get in the teleporter. I don't trust that shit at all. Full of -2s today? I disagree. Because I said so. I'm sorry, I can't meet you in the middle on a conversation if your solution is carry around a plastic straw everywhere. It's just not... Why don't you carry around everything everywhere? Maybe that's a logical extreme. I like a metal straw. I'm just saying, like... You know what, that's true. Maybe I should just get a purse. Yeah, that could work. But to be honest, I've actually, the older I've gotten, the less shit I've been carrying. And I kind of love it. Like now, sometimes I don't even bring my wallet outside because I have Samsung Pay and Google Pay on my phone. So I'm like, what do I need a wallet for? Leave it behind at a restaurant and then like, you know, I'm not even worried about like my credit card being stolen. It just sounds like a pain in the ass to like have to, you know, get new ID. Okay. When you get carded at the liquor store. That only happens in Ketchikan, Alaska, okay? Because they live a little harder up there. Oh. In Vancouver, you know, it might surprise you, but on a regular basis, I'm not the youngest looking person. In Ketchikan, Alaska, I was, you ever, this is so rude. You ever go to like a different town and all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, I'm hot? Don't lie to me and don't lie to yourself. It happens. In Vancouver, I'm nothing special, okay? Sometimes we go visit our in-laws in like northwestern Washington. Maybe we go to the Mount Vernon Tulip Festival or something like that. And I'm like, damn, dude, I'm a hottie. I had no idea. I go back to Vancouver. I'm like, I'm just a guy. I go to the Bellis Fair Mall in Bellingham, Washington, against my will, under duress, and I'm like, holy cow. I can't believe it. I didn't realize I was such a specimen. Oh, man. But it's kind of true, though. I'm like... Shit on Bellingham take. Yep, it's true. No, I don't think I'm a Vancouver 8, and I don't even think that means that like I think I'm ugly or have unhealthy self-esteem. Got a lot of like, you know, fit, attractive people in Vancouver. It honestly, like, people here on average, I would say, are like so fit and active that it actually sort of like makes you mad. Because you're like, how are you going for a jog, like, Wednesday at noon? Like, don't you have a job? Like, who's keeping the city running? If you walk outside on a June day in Vancouver, you would be like, it must be a holiday. There's so many, like, 20 to 50-year-olds that are just chilling. I'm not mad that they're chilling. I'm mad that they're, like, in better shape than I am. Like, if they were in worse shape than me, I would be like, look, they're having a nice day. But when they're in better shape than me, I'm like, get a job. I really thought I was going to make it there. I'm not a NIMBY. I'm the opposite of a NIMBY. I would have voted for Gregor Robertson a third time if they gave me the chance. Yeah, I'm a YIMBY. Even if I wasn't, they keep putting stuff in my backyard anyway, so I might as well just, you know, embrace it. No point of being a NIMBY right now, really. I mean, I respect our civic policies. But at the same time, if you're a NIMBY and you live, like, you know, not in West Vancouver or Kitsilano, like, that's going to be a stressful life for you. I don't know, again, we're getting too Vancouver specific, as we always do when we freebase Peepo Island. Yep, that's going to hurt. But, you know, when I said I'm not going to stop at stop signs anymore, I don't know, would love your thoughts on this. Somebody replied and said, Ryan, I believe it was you that hit my child in West Vancouver yesterday. As a joke, obviously. A little bit of a fucked up joke, but as a joke. And I said, I know this isn't true because in West Vancouver, if the driver hit somebody, they would have invoiced the corpse. And that's a little plus too if you live in Vancouver. We're gonna get that timing right one of these days. +2 and I don't live there. West Vancouver is like the richest, snobbiest part of Vancouver, which is messed up because it's not even in Vancouver. It's in... we don't need to get into it, but okay, East Vancouver is a neighborhood in Vancouver. North Vancouver is a separate city that's north of Vancouver. West Vancouver is the western part of North Vancouver. Southern Vancouver, that's called Bellingham. We don't go there. Beautiful. Okay, not good. I'm just going to jump off there. What about Surrey? I mean, how Vancouver specific do you want? Or, like, you know, greater Vancouver area specific do you want to get? I haven't been to Surrey all that often, but I do know that Surrey is, I mean, it's going to pass Vancouver in population or something if it hasn't already. I also know that it's coming up. You know, its reputation is not as bad as it used to be. But still, I mean, like, so our in-laws came up to Vancouver, and we went to Central City Fun World, which is a cool, like, arcade where everybody had a fun time. Then they said, we want to get Korean food. So they found the restaurant. As we were driving out to the restaurant in Surrey, I was like, we're in Wally. I don't know a whole lot about Surrey, but I do know that Wally is kind of like, you know, Surrey's version of like the Tenderloin, I think, in San Francisco, where it's just like, I'm not saying you can't go there, but like you want to be at least a little bit aware. And then we went to the Korean restaurant. Everything was fine. While we were eating, no joke, my in-laws went back to their car and found out that their shoes were stolen out of the, like, they had spare shoes in the trunk, and that was it. They like left their wallet, they left a laptop. They didn't smash a window or anything, so I don't know, maybe the trunk was just like left unlocked. They just stole the shoes. Could have been worse. They could have stolen their wallet, which had their passports in it. They would have had a hard time getting back across the border. It was a Sunday. You know, they're going back to work the next day. That would have been a nightmare. I visited Vancouver for the first time last summer. First store I entered was of Bass Pro Shops. There's no Bass Pro Shops in Vancouver. You may have been to Vancouver, Washington, the inferior Vancouver. Or, I don't know. I can't speak for Coquitlam. I have no idea where that is, quite frankly. If you're calling south of Wassen Mills, you're going to Wassen Mills and saying that's Vancouver? This is ridiculous, man. Wassen Mills, TSAWASSENN space Mills? I wish we had the Bass Pro Shops pyramid, though. we almost made it. I can't believe it's only noon. I've only been playing this shit for an hour? How long is this? Anyway, I don't even consider Burnaby to be part of Vancouver. And that's like a cool city. Wassen Mills is just like a damn mall. Wassen Mills is the part of, like, southern BC, where, like, when you're driving from Vancouver to Seattle, you hit the button on your car that stops taking air from the outside because it smells like a poultry processing plant. No disrespect if you live in the Wassen Mills Mall. None taken? Okay. I'm sure they got lots of stores there that I actually wish had locations in Vancouver. Like, I bet there's a KFC there. Maybe there's a Taco Bell. If you pause monologuing for 1 minute, you can actually win. Okay, you know what? Consider this monologue paused. That was unexpected. You know what? You know what? What? They're throwing them back at me. There we go. Oh. Okay, hold on. We're landing. This is impossible. This is what you're suggesting here is an impossible task. Is there a crouch? Timing was bad. All right, we're going back to monologuing, but we learned something. That's the important part. We learned something. We don't need to just Vancouver post, though. That's okay. Okay, Vancouver posting. Best city in the Vancouver area, Vancouver. Second best, this is going to be contentious. I got to go Burnaby. Third best, let me get Richmond. Fourth best, Coquitlam. I don't even really... No, sorry. Third best, New West. And New West kind of making a play for number 2. Kind of, the more I go to New West, the more I'm like, hold on. I feel like I'm actually starting to feel like this is even better than Burnaby. Then number 3, let me get a Richmond. Number 4, let me get a Coquitlam. Figure out what you do. Nobody knows what you do. Number 5, Port Coquitlam. What even are you? You're a subsection of an already small city. I don't fully understand. What about Port Moody? I don't know Port Moody. It's just, it has a great brewery in Yellow Dog Brewing. I don't know anything else about it except that they opened the SkyTrain there in the last, like, 4 years. That's my definitive ranking. I will not be taking questions. Goated. Okay. Hug the wall. What do you mean, like this? You piece of shit. Motherfucker. How dare you? I don't think that's the play, man. You think you can run on that? Did you watch another streamer do that? I would gladly take that information from them. Thoughts on Winnipeg? You mean the Slurpee capital of the world? Pierre-Luc Dubois' favorite city? Thoughts on Victoria? I like Victoria. I mean, I've been a few times. We did Christmas at that huge Fairmont one time. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. The thing that mainly keeps me from going to Victoria more is the $100 2-hour BC Ferries trip, followed by the $100 2-hour taxi ride from Schwartz Bay to Victoria. And then when you get to Victoria, you're like, what the hell? This is Vancouver. It's like a whole lot of traveling just to end up in the same place. But that's not a knock on Victoria. Like, I think if you live in Victoria, you're probably like, this is pretty cool. But I imagine you're probably really annoyed every time you have to go to the mainland. I guess you could start taking one of those damn helijets. Or a seaplane or something like that. That's all my thoughts on thoughts, okay? I've seen, like, woefully little of BC. You know what my problem is? I should have gone to the Okanagan, like, within the first few years of me moving here. But now, every time it's worth going to, a day later, it's like, it's on fire. So, and that's not a knock on Kelowna or Kamloops or whatever. It's more of like, you know, it kind of sucks because I hear that it's a beautiful place. Unfortunately, as soon as the weather gets nice, it is on fire. So that's not great. Mostly for them, but won't somebody think of the streamer? It's full of Alberta retirees. I don't really care, like, as a visitor. That doesn't really bother me. He's out of thoughts. I'm using all my brain power to, like, hold my urine inside of my body right now. But I was just trying to, like, okay, so here's the thing. Because I know when you said it's full of Alberta retirees, I know what you meant. It's a place that pretends COVID doesn't exist. So I said I don't mind going there on vacation. But I'm going to use that to pivot to, like, another story. Basically, on the cruise, they also pretend COVID doesn't exist, even though all the staff are wearing masks. And I also, you know, wore a mask when I was not eating. But it was kind of nice to pretend it didn't exist. To take, like, a little 7-day trip and be like, this isn't real. And then smugly go back to my, like, the number of people that I watched that were, like, inside the ship with, like, 3,500 other people, no mask, walk out off the, whatever you call the ramp, surrounded by nobody at all, and then they're like, time to put my mask back on. This is when you want to protect yourself, is when there's absolutely nobody near you. On the ship, the disease can't get to you. That being said, in order to get on this cruise, you had to test negative within 72 hours of getting on. Doesn't mean you couldn't have caught it from your tour guide in Ketchikan, Alaska, but it was like, you know, it was a little bit safer, at least on the way in. Nobody was bringing their germs with them. I mean, they could have had, like, tuberculosis, but... I gotta go to Ketchikan. They got some great shirts! Yeah, I'm into fitness. Fitting this virus into my body in Ketchikan, Alaska. So true. So true. I went to Ketchikan, Alaska, and all I got in return is Omicron variant of COVID BA.5 subtype. Or whatever we're on by now. Hey, man, you know what? This is like the fifth variant, right? Hey, do you think anyone's got a line yet? You think anyone's got four corners? Bingo. It's not really that funny. It's kind of, I mean, we're just trying to make light of a situation that's been around for a while, so. -2? Okay, that's fair. That's the timing. That's not the landing, though. What keeps you playing games like this? I'm having fun. I know a lot of people would rather see me, like, not have fun and play, like, Peglin. But I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying myself. If you're not, I encourage you to get a clue. Bozo. No, I did not say I encourage you to leave. I appreciate your patronage. But I do encourage you to get a clue. Oh, man. Peglin's not bad. I had to pick a good game to use for that bit in order to generate chat engagement. You wouldn't understand. Bad takes get views. So true. I mean, have you watched the news lately? Got him. And catch a guy in a last. I'm so ass. Hold on, hold on. I thought we could get Juan Soto there. Juan Soto, Padres legend. I don't know anything about baseball, but he was traded yesterday, right? Are you cheering for the Blue Jays? Nope. Not really cheering for anybody. Are the Mariners going to make the playoffs this year? Yes? The what? Probably? Was that like the first time since like 2001? Holy cow. I'm still not going to like watch the games, but I might be like, oh, I hope they win. It is literally the first time since 2001. Holy cow, man. They traded for the best starting pitcher in the MLB yesterday. Why would you trade for a pitcher, though? They only play 20% of the games. For $1, name someone on the Mariners. Okay. Felix Hernandez. He's dead? I thought maybe he retired. He was murdered? Okay, I cannot name a player. I'm guessing Ichiro doesn't play for the Mariners or any team in the MLB anymore. I'm not going to say something stupid like Ken Griffey Jr. But is there like a Ken Griffey the third? He's not dead. He's a coach. Okay. All right. I'll take that. By the way, can I tell you, I finished Tenet last night. Controversial take on Tenet. Loved it. Actually, and I loved it in spite of its warts, I think. I would say that the action scenes in Tenet, even though it's like color-coded to try to make it a little bit more watchable, I found them incomprehensible. Whenever they were doing any sort of like mission, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I don't understand how he's fighting in reverse. Like, when he's fighting a dude who's going backwards in time, but the dude who's going backwards in time isn't really fighting. He's just kind of, like, moving his arms the way he would normally move his... But it's because he already moved his arms that his other guy is fighting, that he's having to fight. So, like, the ink is already dry. Anyway, the thing is, I thought that I thought that the action in the movie was incomprehensible, but every time it was happening, I was like, this shit is cool. Whenever they explained something, I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then especially the end of the movie, at the end of the movie, it gets a little anime. No spoilers, but, one of the characters basically sums up the entire movie in the most anime protagonist way possible. by speaking exclusively in like riddles, and then saying like, I'll see you again someday in the past, or maybe I won't, or maybe it's already happened. Take care of yourself. And I was like, that's fucking sick, dude. I honestly, I'm a little embarrassed by how much I enjoyed Tenet. I thought it was fantastic. It's an insane big studio movie. I know, like, this is 2 years after it came out, so I'm like very late to the party. It actually, it sort of plays like Chris Nolan watched Primer and was like, hey, what if I made a movie that also made no fucking sense, but like it's gonna cost $300 million? And I'm kind of into that. I thought it was cool. Also, I love Kenneth Branagh, man. I didn't even know he was in the movie. When Kenneth Branagh showed up, I was like, oh shit, Leonardo DiCaprio. That's Kenneth Branagh. I love that guy. Oh, we're going. Oh, barely got me. I do think that it makes no sense, though. And I am kind of into that. Like, maybe Christopher Nolan, if I asked him the questions that I had about, like, hey, how does this thing work? Because it looks fucking stupid. He would have, like, an answer. But I'm like, no, I kind of like that you were just like, you know what? It doesn't make any sense, and that's okay, because it's cool enough. Yeah, like inverted lungs can't breathe real air. I know what you did there, Christopher Nolan. You screened the fucking movie, and the audience was like, I don't know who's who. I don't know who's going forward in time. I don't know who's going backwards in time. The shit doesn't make any sense. And then Chris Nolan was like, we'll make them wear an oxygen mask so they know they're going backwards in time. And then you just have a scientist be like, you know, oh, inverted lungs can't breathe normal air. I don't know if they fixed the audio mixing on Netflix, or if I just, because I watch everything with subtitles on, I didn't notice. But I didn't find the sound mixing that bad, but it was a very common complaint. And I believe the complaint 100%, because Chris Nolan's audio is always, like, bad. I still, like, The Dark Knight Rises is not the best Batman movie. But it's still, it's so funny that they let Tom Hardy do the voice, man. Like, it's just, like, I'm not saying they should have just had him talk like a normal guy, but the fact that he talks like that, and then nobody, at no point does anybody go, hey, Bane, like, what's wrong with your voice? What voice? You know, his weird, like, soda can British accent, where he's always up-speaking at the end of his sentences. You know why I'm here? Cactus Jack sent me! You need the cup for it. I don't think I have a cup. I just have a water bottle. You know why I'm here? I'll have a junior bacon cheeseburger. Something, you know, is... Like, legitimately... I really thought I could split the D there. Legitimately, when the trailer came out for The Dark Knight Rises, I could not understand what he was saying. It just sounded like noise to me. But they cleaned it up a little bit in the theater release, I guess. But I saw it in theaters. It's a fine movie. It's not bad. I mean, it's probably my second favorite of the Chris Nolan Batmans. I think Batman Begins is highly overrated. There must have been a YouTube essay that was like, why Batman Begins is actually the best Batman movie. Batman Begins, I don't care if you -2 the shit out of me for this. Ra's al Ghul is an ass villain. I don't even know what he does. Like, what's his thing? He's old and he has, like, a lot of contacts. He has power in the shadows or something. He's just a guy. He's immortal? Not in the movie. Ooh. Spoilers? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen Batman Begins in like probably like 7 or 8 years, but I mean, The Dark Knight Rises has problems. Batman, and don't try to explain it to me, okay? Just with Chris Nolan movies, you gotta just sometimes he's like, this shit would be cool. Bane's plan coming to fruition and putting all of Gotham City on a time crunch. Batman somehow escaping from a bottomless pit in Turkey with a broken back, getting in a private jet, flying back to Gotham City in the nick of time, but also having time to leave like the bat signal on the bridge to light it on fire so that it sends a signal to Gotham that Batman's back. Like, it's just, sometimes he just does stuff in his movies that's like, this would be sick. And I respect, like, that's what I like about Tenet. As far as I'm concerned, Tenet does not make sense. And I think that that's very, it allows them to do some very cool stuff. Like the backwards fighting, I don't understand. How can you backwards, like, martial arts fight somebody? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm into it whenever they're backwards fighting. I'm like, oh shit. And then they're like, I don't understand how this works. And then a scientist is like, the laws of physics are inverted when you're inverted. So fire is cold. And I'm like, oh shit. What the hell? It's not backwards for you? Yeah, but look at the way he's fighting when he's inverted. That shit looks backwards. He's just going like this over and over. When he's fighting forwards, he's throwing punches and grapples and stuff. When he's fighting backwards, he's just going like this over and over. That is backwards, though? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. From your perspective? Robert Pattinson is also sick in Tenet. He's amazing in that movie. I'm starting to think that guy might just be like a good actor. I don't know. Would love your thoughts on this. Did you watch Primer? I have seen Primer like 4 times. I feel like I actually have finally come to the point where I kind of understand Primer. I really like it. It took a long time for me to get what's happening. Because, like, 2 dudes invent time travel and then use it to, like, I don't know, spy on their friend a little bit and insider trade. What they should have done is get into a bunch of backwards fights and wear a gas mask. That would have been cool. No, I think Primer is really good. I mean, everybody knows it, though. It's like going on r/movies and going, I watched this movie nobody's ever heard of. Why does nobody talk about this movie, The Nice Guys? I gotta be honest, I feel like I'm coming to the end of my Peepo Island rope for today. I just gotta, at least, I gotta try to hug the wall one more time. I like The Nice Guys. Is it getting roasted? No, everybody likes, well, most people like The Nice Guys. It's just, it became like the 2010s Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, where like whenever people talk about underrated movies, they're like, oh my god, nobody ever talks about The Nice Guys. And you're like, it's the top post in every thread about like, what movie do you think is criminally underrated? In the 2010s is In Bruges. Okay, In Bruges did not come out in the 2010s, but it might have reached some sort of critical mass then, perhaps. I could accept it. In Bruges was also up there for sure. Most underrated movie? What would you post? I don't know. I think you know my insane take. You'd have to sort by controversial to see it. I still feel like Crank and Crank 2 are actually highly underrated, and the world was not ready to not take this movie seriously. I think they took the movie too seriously, critics and audiences, and said, what the hell? This is stupid. Jason Statham has to keep his heart rate up. I think now, with Jason Statham has to electrocute his balls to not die. I think that they, in a world where, like, those, you know, I feel like more avant-garde movies are finding an audience now, and especially movies that are a little bit unrealistic, over the top with the action and stuff like that. People are kind of more into them now. I feel like it would have a better chance for, like, it to be revised as a bit of a cult classic now. No, I would not say the Age of Ultron. If I was going to pick a Marvel movie, most underrated Marvel movie, I don't know. I don't have an answer. I honestly feel like lately it might be Doctor Strange 2. But I don't think there's any revisionist history coming for Doctor Strange 2. I think it just is what it is. Bat chest, bat chest. It's been a good year for Raimi's. Samuel had Doctor Strange 2. Ted was in the Dark Pictures anthology, Camp Low, whatever it's called. The Quarry, that's it. You noob. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Crank movies are actually slept on. I don't think they're, like, ironically good or so bad it's good. I think those movies are good. I would rather watch those movies 10 times each than ever see a sequel to The Transporter. Or Christmas with the Cranks. Jason Statham as Chev Chelios. Mr. Chelios, I regret to inform you I've placed a chip in your brain. If you don't watch Christmas with the Cranks once every 3 hours in its entirety, your brain will explode. Good luck. Jason Statham, trying to watch Christmas with the Cranks, but he's at his data cap for the month, so he's got to find a video store, but there's no video stores left in London. Let me use your phone. That's not really what he sounds like. Oi! Let me use your phone. Not really a good Jason Statham impression. You nailed it? I think that's just the oi, honestly. I need to use your phone. Let me use your phone. Oh, I see why you guys don't like the impression. Oi, I need your mobile. I need your mobile telly. I need your pocket ring. Now you sound like Carl Urban from The Boys. Huey. I've only seen season 1 like 3 years ago. All right, I think I'm done. I'll go to the slash marker. I can't even think about what I'm playing next. I gotta go pee. I'll see you in 3 minutes. See you in a sec.